Hey, good morning, everybody. Today is a Sunday. I'm on my on-demand account on Thinkorswim. I'm going to be showing you how to set up the volume profile for intraday trading, which is a lot different than just the way they set it up. Everything is on Thinkorswim that we teach here on our teaching channel. Day Trading for Success. Everything is free. Make sure you check out the perfect 1 minute layout, the perfect 5 minute layout, all the custom scripts that we have. You can get everything downloaded for free. So check out all the videos that we had. Also, shout out for people that have been buying the logbook. I appreciate that support. Basically, we're going to be coming out. I'm going to be putting out a couple of that one. It shows some samples on how to trade the RV strategy, but we will be putting out a couple of other trading styles that we use, so you can use that rating system in the book to pick your the stocks for the day. So it's pretty handy, and that's how we started out. If for some reason you can't afford $8.99, you have my permission to make a copy of that rating system page. Just don't go out and make copies of it and sell it as like a book, please. But other than that, I understand some people, it's hard times. But hopefully you can scrape together $8.99, because you should be trading with a logbook anyway. Okay, that's the end of my commercial. So the volume profile was my very first video before I even had an idea of what this channel was going to go, before I actually started the $1 Million Margin Club officially. And I felt like I needed to revisit that video and update it a bit. So it's going to be focusing on intraday trading, and that's how it's so important for scalping. So I'm going to get right into it. So as you can see, this is if you're used to seeing my setup, this is my 1 minute setup. This is a 5 minute chart. I've taken away all the indicators so we can just start fresh with the volume profile to see it nice and clear. So it's on Apple today. I'm going to go ahead and open up this beaker, and I'm going to type in volume P, should bring it up, right? So you left click on that, highlight it, add selected. Now it's over here. Now before you say okay, apply, go into this gear wheel. And this is one of the changes if you watch my original video, which might be fun just to see my first video. But if you haven't seen it, I mean, this is one of the things that I'm doing differently. And this was brought to my attention by a fellow YouTuber. So it's great that we have the $1 Million Margin Club Brain Trust, but you never stop learning, right? So everybody brings so much to the table now that we're getting comments and the channel's growing. It's so great to listen and hear what people, what they can contribute in their knowledge of trading. There's a lot of professional traders coming over here too, which is really, I wasn't really expecting that. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so you go to this time profile thing. And this is one of the changes that just seems so simple that I never did. So put this on day. That's one of the things you want to do. I'll explain that in a minute. On the expansion, you want to switch this to no. And down here on the opacity, you want to maybe make it not so bright on your screen. I put that at about a 30. Well, I'll put it at 35 just to make sure you can see it today. Okay, so now we've done those. That's all. Now there's other stuff you can do. I mean, you can change the lines of the value areas, high and low, to red and green, and you can do all kinds of stuff. You might want to experiment a little bit and how you might want it to look on your screen. But for today's purposes, that's all we're going to have to do. So I say okay, and then I say apply, and I say okay. Nothing's going to come up at first. I have to go in here and just change this time frame. I'm going to change it to 1 day. Now this is what I said on my original video, which you had to do because you wanted to make sure it was in for intraday trading. But once I get it up here, and for some reason they make you, probably somebody's going to tell me I don't need to do it this way. I'm going to set it for 10 days now that I've got it up. Now what you're seeing here is, and this is a little confusing at first, so I'm going to go over this. So this is showing you each individual day now where the volume was at, rather than cumulatively kind of correcting it. Because if you're a day trader, if you're marking out support and resistance lines, if you've seen me in my RV strategy, I'll go back 5, 6, 7 days sometimes because I need to get an alignment where the stock is now. And that's just good for any kind of scalping. But I need to know what was the volume like on those days, right? Now, I was going through this whole process that you never saw to do that. And this simple little thing did it for me. I just didn't think that it had the capability here. So these are individual days for each day. But we're only going to be focused on 1 day, right? But this is good for research in the beginning. So what I'm going to do now is zoom in so we can talk about how this is being used for one day. Okay, so let's get this right where I want it. Now this is on April 26th on demand, which is probably very soon to when I release this, because I'm trying to get these out quicker. Now we can talk about this a little bit, about what we've got here. We just trying to get this more lined up in the middle. There we go. So that's going to be a little bit better. Okay, so now you can see a little bit better. So the value areas, high and low, right, are there's the high value area, there's the low value area, and here is the point of control, or the magnet. And the way I look at this is like, this is the bumper car track, high and low, right? And this is your little car in here, or whatever. This is the vehicle. This is the mean. This is the goal, or whatever. This is the magnet. I call it the magnet, and this is the bumper car track, right? So let's look at the stock action right now. This blue line, these are volume bars. These are the most people buying and selling, are these lines that go across there. So let's just look at the action here. So this is pre-market. So when it's out of the bumper car track, when it's out of the magnet area, it's being drawn in, because that's where all the action is. That's where all the buying and selling is going on. So it's automatically, you know, drawing it right toward it, right? So it gets into the track, it goes right to the magnet. That's its goal, right? And then it shoots by it, and it's like, oh, don't leave the track, guys. I'm trying to make this simple, so forgive my analogies, right? But it's an easy way to think about it, right? So then it turns around. It's like, boom, bump the track. Turns back around to the magnet. It's like, boom, but it had so much momentum. Oh, God, it went out through. Now, keep in mind, when this volume drops off, right, it's kind of like a void. It's like it had the momentum to shoot down, but there's nobody down here. You know, there's nobody here. So, you know, if there's nobody buying or selling, you know, it's going to go back the other way. So you can kind of see from right here. Now, granted, pre-market, you know, volume and action is different than open session. So you maybe want to, you know, count this as 30 to 40% as accurate as the volume in the open session. But it's still the volume, and it's kind of pulled over from the day before. And if you're really wondering, you could go back further. So there's the track the day before, there's the magnet the day before. So it was closer, a little closer, but not too much. So you can see the track's kind of moved down today. So think of it as a bumper car track, and think of this. This is the car, the candlesticks, right? And then this is the goal, the magnet. So I know I said that, I just said it again. So it blew through here, but then it was like, it was in a void, and it was like, I got to get out of here. You know, so it got pulled back up, right? And the same thing happened again. It blew past it, and it's like hit the rails, like don't leave the track. Came back down. It blew. This time it didn't go past the track as much. It came back, and then it got carried away, right? People got carried away. People blew right through that track. And now the volume, now again, you've got a big void here. And whenever there's a void, a couple things, it can go either direction in a void. So when it first blows through the track, typically expect it to really go. Typically, once it goes through, expect a move up. Now, this one kind of turned around quicker, so did this one. But, I mean, they both went quite a few, you know, what was that? That equaled about 40 cents here, you know. So here you're at 164.29, and it went all the way up to almost $1, you know, over $1 up. So count on it. If it starts to go, it's like, okay, I'm going to ride this, because, you know, you might get these little things in between. That could have been the turnaround, so you'd want to be careful right there, you know. But this is how you read volume with the volume profile. It's very handy if you get used to it. You've seen me talk about the seller's indicator. I mean, if you're doing long-term, you know, day trade, I call intraday trading long-term. That's how you can tell I'm a 1-minute trader, right? So, you know, you can really get a lot of value from seeing how the ebb and flow of this. So here it comes again. It breaks through. It's in the track. It goes. This is trying to center where most of the action is right here. Picture that I'm picturing the candlesticks are alive. All right, that's an easier way to think about it. And then it hits that. Don't leave the track, guys. You know, and it's boom, 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 boom. And you can kind of get a feel when you're going long, going short, going long, going short. And then in the middle of all this, you're looking at your other indicators, obviously, to help you make this move. But that's basically what, how I use the volume in a profile, how intraday traders look at. I don't want to speak for everybody. They all have their own way of looking at things. And I'm listening to every single one of them constantly and adapting them to what I already have been doing. So I do appreciate all the feedback. It's great. But guys, that's the new video on the volume profile. I hope that was helpful. It's not real rocket science, and I set it up this way. Now, before I cut off here, so by the way, if you like I always forget that. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. Maybe pass it on to your friends to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. But you can also look at these if you go back even a month. You can start to get a feel for bigger swing trades, like where is this volume, or you can just set the days to go back that far. So let's just say if I set this time frame, well, it's on the individual day, so I'd have to do it differently to do that. So if I did it, I go into I know I was about to end the video and I stopped. All right, so if you take this off a day and you just put it on chart, you say, okay, apply, okay. Now you have a big one, and then I go back like, let's say I want to go back like a month. Go back a month, okay. Now you can see a much bigger, you can get a bigger feel for the ebb and flow of this. Why is this not rolling with me here? Sorry, there we go. I'm trying to pull this tighter to us here, but it's not going the whole month. But if you open this up, let me try to get this whole thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if you open this up, and this is how most people that aren't day traders, they're going to look at, wow, way left these days. It's way out of. So if they're doing a swing trade, they're looking to look for the low down here, and then get in. They're going to try to find, look at that spike from down there. So obviously, if you're not a day trader, there's a different way to look at this. There's a whole different way. And I'm sure there's lots of videos out there that talk about that. We focus on scalping. So I just wanted to show you how valuable it can be for not just scalping, but for anything. But that's why I put it within the chart that day to focus on the scalping. And guys, I hope that was helpful, and I will see you the next time. Trade safe out there.